We'll talk about that in a little bit, but they embody the number 4. They embody change. So you're changing directions, and there's tension to this. If you're astrologically minded, you already know where I'm going with this, but I'll say that. The colors purple, blue, calming, third eye, and antler-like. And then there's like this little crown. Teasel has this too, where there's like just a little crown goes at a time. So it's definitely like, it's almost like a crown on a crown. So you've already got this crown of flowers, and then you've got this little tiara on the actual raceme itself. So it's like, yeah, I really, really, really am from the brain. And it's an excellent nerve remedy. Dr. Bach has this one down in spades. It's really good for type A people, list makers, high-minded. Like, it's not, I say this because I have some very strong Virgo placements. It's for very, very Virgoian energy that's gone wild. Very Mercury types, very just like, yeah, definitely a deer medicine. And then I had to bring in the mints because this whole family is something that people have been using for nerves for years. This is the Lamiaceae. And so I'm just going to like go through them here. We've got Monarda, Motherwort, Skullcap, Lemon Balm, Lavender. These are the reps. There are so many more, but these ones tend to have very specific nerve functions. And like I said, there's more. There's some mints that don't work as much on the nervous system, but they probably have that in there, like ground ivy, for example. But this whole family, there are a few of their traits are they have opposite leaves. You can see that will form that cross. They have square stems. You can see that here. They have 5 petaled flowers, 5, so 4, and then that space in the middle is 5. So 4s and 5s are very related in the world of numerology and in mints. And then many mints have purple, blue flowers. Not all of them, like the lovely catnip, which is not mentioned here. That one has a pinkish or whitish flower. So we talked a little bit about what those mean. I will also put in there that 90 degrees, this cross-like shape, is very tense. We do not see that in nature typically. If you see that, it's in a building or a structure or iron beams, and that's man-made. It's like you're causing your own problems. It's a man-made, manufactured thing. So it's a sign of tension as well, because this is hard. That's a harsh angle to turn in a car when you're first learning to drive. Woo, especially. So yeah, that's a hard angle to reconcile. And so it's like a kink in a hose, and that's a spasm. That's change, that's tension, and you need to resolve tension. These plants can help. Strangely enough, they actually stimulate. They stimulate the body until like they shake it up a bit to help release that kink. They're just like, oh, it's kind of like they're doing a knot. They don't just be like, oh, you're immediately relaxed. They have to provide action to undo. And I know I'm working with my hands here. We talked about 4s and 5s. So the cross makes that 4 point, and that middle place is very magical, but I'm going to put it out there as the 5th point in that. We have 5 fingers. Our body's made in a 5-pointed star. 5 is very much related to man and man activity or mankind activity. They create, they go out in the world where our periphery is located. So there's definitely association with that number and something we'll talk about in a bit. We'll get there in a bit. These are also, they tend to be cooling. They can work on a spectrum. Like peppermint can be sometimes heating at first, and then it brings it down. Kind of like how it has to stimulate things and irritate things first to get it to relax. It might heat you up a little bit or even release heat, cool you down. That's a super good trick for Monarda. I will testify to this. It will release all the heat. It's really good at opening the periphery. It's working with the release of all this stuff, lets the heat out, and then you can cool down. And then, of course, this color is associated with the crown or the brow chakra. And that's imagination, intuition, all the things that we associate with being up here. We'll go more into that in symbols. Haha, see, redundant patterns. I'm going to put this up there. I'm going to go through this. These are the calyces. You can find them in the winter. Reminds me of pores. But yeah, I'll let you read on that in a bit. I do want to talk a little bit about Mince the Elements and a German guy. So Rudolf Steiner, 1800s, philosopher, follower of Goethe, lots of good esoteric thinking in this. And if you're looking for writings about that, you can check out Healing Plants. This is by a follower of his, Wilhelm Pelikan. You can get this at the Steiner Institute for a lot cheaper than you can on Amazon. He separated the segments or the pieces of a plant into elements. So for those of you that love elements, astrology, Southern folk medicine, this is your stuff. He associated the flower with air and thought. And I'm just going to go right in for the leaves. The leaves are the emotional part. They're the watery part of the plant. And so when mints grow, they often don't develop huge leaves like a burdock. They forego that to get their blooms out. And even the blooms, like think about like motherwort, how they're scattered within the leaf itself. So it's like the plant is so impatient, it's not going to be developmentally working on its water parts or its emotions. It's going to put it all into the airy flower, all into thought. And if that's reminding you of a certain astrological sign, good. But think about what that means. This might be for somebody, these mints, for someone who's all thought and they haven't maybe built up an emotional core. So when they finally frazzle and like just sputter out, they don't have any grounding from their roots and they don't have any emotional stamina or not enough left to get them through that big mental crash. That's the kind of person that might benefit from a mint. Those people that just run their nerves ragged without any other grounding or emotional backing. So, Pelican is spelled wrong. It's spelled checked. It's Pelican with a K because he's German. I want to put this out there too. Echinacea. It's not a huge nerve remedy, but the taste is really important. If you want to taste what diffusive tastes like, eat some echinacea. It is electric. And even though this herb is more for sepsis, like it stimulates your body into working with that, it's also for exhaustive overwork. So very important taste. I encourage you to try it if you haven't. Another nerve plant is borage. Beautiful blue, once again. See, redundancies. And we can just cruise through these because it's redundant. It's drooping and it's hairy. We've talked about hairs in the nerves. And that drooping is actually like a person who's just absolutely at their wits' end. They are exhausted. They are bent over. This is for extreme fatigue, for being worn out and bullied, as well as nervous exhaustion. It also does work with the adrenal cortex. So you're also working with exhaustion from an HPA, hypothalamus pituitary axis standpoint as well. So your nerves and adrenals. Okay, autonomic nervous system. This is hard to find signatures for because it's like the processes are everywhere in the body. But what do these processes have in common? These automatic things like the heartbeat and the lungs, there's a pulse to it. And I'm going to, as a former music teacher, I have to separate beat from rhythm. They are not the same thing, but there's definitely a steadiness to it, a steady pulse, but that would contribute to its rhythmic nature. The vagus nerve is also a big part. It runs all the way down from tippy top to bottom in there too. And it's part of the ANS. It runs the automatic processes. We talked about the diffusive taste. And so we might be making associations based on colors for the nerves or tastes or how it's rhythmic. So if a plant is segmented and looks like a pulse, it might be good for the autonomic nervous system. And I didn't make this connection till recently. David Winston mentioned that they'll use the segments of the flowers and they'll string them together like beads. I was like, oh my gosh, this is Tulsi or holy basil. It's part of the mint family as well, just different colored flowers. And what do we use rosaries for in any tradition or prayer beads, meditation? They're regulating us. It's to go in and to regulate and to clear, but really what's mostly happening is you're refocusing again and again on a basic thing. on a one. You don't want it scattered. You want to bring it into the one. And so you have to come back around to that. And that's what beads can help you do. They pulse you, they bring you back. And that is the structure of Tulsi. And I think that is actually one of the most beautiful signatures. And I'm so glad that David Winston mentioned that. This is a probable adaptogen. A lot of people will say this is an adaptogen. I just want to say that it's like more than like super, super likely, but the receipts aren't quite there yet. This is neuroprotective. It's for brain fog. And like most mints, it stimulates and then it relaxes you. So it helps you move from sympathetic, fight or flight, into parasympathetic, relax. Here we've got motherwort again. Look at how nodal it is. We saw this earlier. It suggests a steady beat or a pulse, and it's for heart palpitations usually related to hyperthyroidism. That there's a hormonal component to hyperthyroidism, which is another excitable tissue that responds to those electrolytes and electricity, and those fluctuations can affect the heart from the ANS. So that's why this is an appropriate use of that. This is lobelia. Oh my gosh. You can look up Samuel Thompson, who brought this into practice. Lobelia inflata, very pale purple. It's in the back, it has this bulbous structure that's like glandular or very brain-like. It looks like a third eye emerging from a brain. And then from the ratio of flower to plant, look at this big old spine, teeny tiny little glands right up in there. That's super acrid. Like it gives you that whole shiver that's going to wake up and get things back online. And it's very much for the ANS because it is for the vagus nerve in spades. It's a lung remedy, and the lungs are one of those organs that's controlled by the autonomic nervous system. So yeah, and it's for spasmodic asthma. So once again, we're talking about tension and spasm. Sorry, something in my eye. Okay. And this one can be used too. This is our native one. This is Lobelia syphilitica. And I had to show it because it is a gorgeous color blue. Like it doesn't, I saw this, I felt so smart. And look at all those little hairs too. This is Nigella. Similar to the fennel, look at that airy look. Light blue or purple. Kind of makes me think about cloud medicine, but I'm going to save that for another day. It is also bitter and acrid, and it gives that body a shakeup. And it is an ANS remedy. It's vagal.